The hardest thing about cats is not that they are silent. It's that they are communicating with you all the time, just in a language most people never learn to read. And when you misunderstand that language, you also misunderstand their emotions, their trust, and even the relationship you share. In this video, we're decoding the cat behaviors that most owners get wrong through the lens of cat communication and cat psychology and behavior. Why does your cat suddenly climb onto your lap? Why do they sleep on your clothes? Why isn't a slow blink simply a sign of love? And why can turning their back on you actually be one of their greatest signs of trust? By the end of this video, you'll stop guessing what your cat means and start understanding what they're really trying to say. You leave your shirt on the bed, and within minutes your cat is curled up on top of it, even though their own bed is just a few feet away. At first glance, it seems like they simply chose the warmest or softest spot. But to a cat, the real reason is often much simpler: your scent. Unlike humans, who rely mostly on vision, cats depend heavily on scent to recognize familiar individuals and decide whether a place feels safe. That's why your worn clothes can be so comforting. They still smell like you. This also matches findings from a 2019 Oregon State University study showing that many cats form secure attachments with their caregivers. In other words, you are more than the person who fills the food bowl. You are part of your cat's sense of security. So when you're away, your shirt doesn't just carry your scent. It carries the feeling that someone they trust is still part of their world. And scent is only one part of your cat's language. Sometimes, they communicate with nothing more than a pair of half-closed eyes. A slow blink is often described as a cat's way of saying, "I love you." And in a way, that can be true. But if you stop there, you miss one of the most important ideas in cat communication. For cats, a direct stare can signal tension or even a threat. So when your cat looks at you and slowly closes their eyes, they're doing the opposite. They're lowering their guard. They're saying, "I don't see you as dangerous." That idea is supported by a 2020 study from the University of Sussex and the University of Portsmouth, published in Scientific Reports. Researchers found that cats responded more positively when people slow blinked at them, suggesting it works as a friendly social signal between cats and humans. So a slow blink is more than affection. It begins with trust. Love may grow from that trust, but first, your cat has to feel safe enough to relax around you. But cats don't communicate only with their eyes. Sometimes, the distance they choose to keep says even more. Have you ever noticed your cat following you from room to room, only to stop halfway? It can look as if they suddenly lost interest. But from your cat's perspective, something very different is happening. Cats don't always follow because they want to stay right beside you. More often, they're keeping track of where the people they trust are. Behaviorists describe this as social monitoring, constantly updating information about important individuals in their environment. That's why your cat may follow you to the kitchen, then quietly wait by the doorway instead of coming all the way in. They haven't changed their mind. They've simply confirmed where you are. This idea also fits with the 2019 Oregon State University Secure Base Test, which showed that many cats use their caregivers as a source of security. In animal behavior, this is often described as social referencing, using a trusted individual to help judge whether a situation is safe. Your cat doesn't always need to be next to you to feel connected. Sometimes, simply knowing where you are is enough. But when a cat no longer feels the need to keep checking on you, they may do something that surprises almost every owner. They'll turn their back on you. When a person turns their back on you, it usually signals the end of an interaction. Cats often mean the exact opposite. In the animal world, turning your back leaves you vulnerable. A cat will only do that when they believe there's no immediate threat behind them. Behaviorists sometimes describe this as voluntary vulnerability, choosing to lower your guard because you feel safe. Context, however, makes all the difference. If your cat turns their back while their body is relaxed and their ears remain calm, it's usually a strong sign of trust. If their ears keep swiveling, they're still monitoring the environment. They trust you, but they're not ignoring everything else around them. That's why you should never judge a cat by a single behavior. In cat communication, body posture, ear position, eye movement, and overall body language work together to tell the full story. So the next time your cat quietly sits with their back facing you, don't assume they're ignoring you. They may actually be saying, "I don't need to watch my back when you're here." But not every message comes through body language. Sometimes, your cat is communicating through a sound that almost every owner thinks they already understand. If there's one cat behavior that almost everyone misreads, it's purring. We naturally associate that soft rumble with happiness, but the reality is much more complex. Cats also purr when they're injured, frightened, or trying to comfort themselves. Some researchers have suggested that the low-frequency vibrations of purring, typically between 25 and 150 Hz, may even help support healing in bones and soft tissue. While that idea is still being studied, it reminds us that purring serves more than one purpose. That's why you should never judge your cat's emotions by purring alone. Look at the whole picture. Are their ears relaxed? Is their body loose or tense? Are they eating and behaving normally? In cat communication, one signal is never the whole story. It's the combination of signals that reveals how your cat is really feeling. Sometimes, the most misunderstood message isn't a sound or a posture. It's what your cat does just seconds after you touch them. You finish petting your cat, and almost immediately, they begin licking the exact spot you just touched. It's easy to assume they're trying to remove your scent, but the science doesn't support that conclusion. According to International Cat Care, grooming is about much more than staying clean. It helps cats maintain their coat, spread natural oils, and preserve their own familiar scent. Licking after being petted may simply be part of that normal routine. Some behaviorists also suggest that grooming helps cats process new scents or restore their own scent afterward. But so far, no research has shown that cats groom themselves because they dislike the smell of humans. Instead of focusing on this one behavior, look at the bigger picture. If your cat still seeks you out, slow blinks at you, or rubs against your legs, those are far stronger signs of trust than a few quick licks after being petted. And sometimes, instead of asking for your attention outright, your cat has a clever way of making sure they become the center of it. It never seems to happen when you're doing nothing. The moment you open your laptop, start reading, or focus on your phone, your cat suddenly walks across the keyboard or sits right in front of the screen. It looks like they're demanding attention, but there's usually something deeper going on. To a cat, your attention is part of your social connection. When you become completely absorbed in something else, that connection briefly fades. By stepping in, your cat may simply be trying to restore it. Behaviorists describe this as reestablishing social interaction. Your cat isn't necessarily asking to play or be petted. Sometimes, all they want is a quick acknowledgement that they're still part of your world. That's why many cats leave as soon as you look at them, say a few words, or give them a gentle stroke. They weren't asking for 10 minutes of attention. They were simply checking that your connection was still there. And sometimes, that reassurance lasts only a second, a quick touch before they're quietly on their way again. Your cat brushes against your leg, bumps your hand with their head, or lightly rubs against you, then calmly walks away. If you've ever wondered why they leave so quickly, the answer may surprise you. That brief contact isn't necessarily an invitation to pet them. When cats rub against you, they're leaving scent from specialized glands around their face and body while also checking your scent. Think of it as a quick social check-in. They're confirming that you're still here, still familiar, and still part of their trusted social group. For cats, maintaining a relationship doesn't always require long interactions. Sometimes, one gentle touch is enough. That's why many cats greet you this way when you come home, walk into a room, or simply pass by. It isn't random. It's their quiet way of saying, "I know you're here." But sometimes, even that isn't close enough. When a cat feels completely safe, they may choose the closest place of all, not beside you, but right on top of you. One moment your cat is sitting across the room. The next, they jump onto your lap, your chest, or even your shoulders. Most people assume they're simply looking for warmth, comfort, or a cozy place to rest. Those things certainly matter, but they don't tell the whole story. From a cat's perspective, climbing onto someone is one of the closest forms of social contact they can choose. Behaviorists describe this as the highest level of proximity regulation. Throughout the day, cats constantly adjust how close they want to be to the people they trust. Sometimes they watch from across the room. Sometimes they follow you. Sometimes they brush against your legs. And sometimes they choose to be as close as physically possible. That idea also fits with the 2019 Oregon State University Secure Base Test, which showed that many cats form secure attachments with their caregivers. Choosing to climb onto you isn't just about finding a comfortable place to sit. It's often a sign that your presence makes them feel safe. When your cat settles on your lap or curls up on your chest, they're doing something surprisingly vulnerable. They're giving up some freedom of movement and placing themselves in a position where they feel completely at ease. So the next time your cat climbs onto you, don't think of it as a random habit. Think of it as one of the clearest ways your cat says, "I feel safest when I'm with you." If you look closely, every behavior we've explored today points back to the same idea: feeling safe. Whether it's sleeping on your clothes, slow blinking, following you from room to room, turning their back on you, purring, grooming after being petted, interrupting your work, brushing against you before walking away, or climbing onto your lap, each one is a different piece of your cat's language. The moment you begin seeing the world the way your cat does, you'll stop guessing what their behaviors mean and start understanding what they're really trying to tell you. And that's exactly what Cat Decoded is all about. Now I'm curious, which of these 9 behaviors does your cat do most often? Tell me in the comments. I read every one, and your cat's story might even inspire a future video. And if you want to understand your cat through science, behavior, and real cat communication, don't forget to subscribe to Cat Decoded.